All right. Good morning or good evening. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to anybody viewing the live replay. But we did have Jerome Powell speaking today, and we're going to take a look at that and see what exactly it is, if it's anything or if it's a nothing burger. And we're going to take a quick look at the charts and the markets and see how they have reacted to this, because this is a pop-up emergency live stream, guys. We are going to be live here very, very shortly. We're going to take a look at Jerome Powell's speech here and see what exactly he said and if it's anything at all to be paying attention to. So Powell is actually live in Rhode Island right now for the Greater Providence Chamber event, and we're going to take a look at see what he talked about in regards to the economic outlook and just get an idea of what is going on here with this. And then I'll give you guys my opinion and breakdown of Bitcoin and altcoins very quickly. It's going to be a quick breakdown because I don't have a whole lot of time. I will be live this afternoon and going into tonight, though, because, guys, we have been remonetized on YouTube. Thank you to all of you guys that have shown all the love and support here on the channel, in the chat, and in the videos and everything else. I really do appreciate it very much. Now, let's get right into what is going on here exactly. I will go ahead and pull the live speech up right now. Jerome Powell signals Federal Reserve to move slowly on interest rate cuts. Is this going to be something to keep in mind as we go into the end of 2025? Is this going to affect Bitcoin and the crypto market? Let's dive in here and take a look. Let's go ahead and see. It was just live. So let's go ahead and
here today to lead our program.
Go on forward
Rick
here.
Metters, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone today? That was an amazingly tepid response. I'll try a little later, but good afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce our presenting sponsor of today's event from the University of Rhode Island, President Mark Parlange. He became URI's 12th president in August of 2021, and over the course of his professional higher education career, spanning more than 30 years, and I would add multiple continents as well. He has held academic leadership, research, and faculty positions at Monash University, one of Australia's premier research universities, the University of British Columbia, the prestigious Swiss Public Research Institute, École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne, and stateside here on both coasts, Johns Hopkins University and the University of California at Davis. He's a recognized expert in research on environmental fluid mechanics. He has published more than 200 peer-reviewed journal articles. He is a member of the U.S. National Academy of Engineering, a fellow of the Canadian Academy of Engineering, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the American Meteorological Society, and the American Geophysical Union. He has received a number of prestigious academic awards and was awarded the 2020 American Meteorological Society's Hydraulic Sciences Medal. Mark received his Master's of Science and his doctorate from Cornell University and his Bachelor of Science degree from Griffith University in Australia. On a personal note, to tell you a little bit about the character of this man. I am very fortunate to be the uncle of a third-year URI student. And when my niece Brenna had accepted or acknowledged her acceptance to the university, I very impromptu asked Mark, could I get a presidential welcome video, Mark? And Mark said, when would you like to do that, Rick? And I said, how about 3, 2, 1, action? And he immediately responded to the challenge. In addition, I want to thank Mark and all of the URI family for being welcoming to our first class of Fidelity Scholars, a group of young men and women from the state going to school in the state who will receive last dollar scholarships and support systems that will allow them to obtain a degree without debt. And Mark and the URI faculty have been outstanding stewards of that. He is a champion of all things URI in the classroom, the labs, concert halls, the fields. He is URI's #1 cheerleader, maybe 1A after his wife, Mary. Born in Providence and working here diligently on behalf of all Rhode Island residents, please welcome the president of the University of Rhode Island, Mark Parlange.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is so good to see all of you here. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge our friends and colleagues celebrating Rosh Hashanah and wish you a Happy New Year. I want to thank Lori White and the Chamber for convening this important conversation each year, and I join you in looking forward to Chairman Powell's keynote. His perspective on the national economic landscape will be invaluable. I want to talk briefly about higher education in the United States and about the University of Rhode Island. The United States has given the world many things, but perhaps best of all is the American Research University. And as Rhode Island's public research university, we have a unique responsibility. We were founded to serve the people of the state, to educate, to provide access, and to power the economy through translational research and service. That public land-grant mission matters, especially at a time when confidence in higher education is uncertain. This is why I believe our role is to demonstrate every day how our mission and our university creates value. Value for students, value for businesses, value for Rhode Island, and value for the nation. Let me share how we do this. First, we prepare the workforce you rely on. Every year, URI graduates thousands of students in nursing, engineering, the sciences, accounting, pharmacy, business, the arts and humanities, and countless other fields. Some 70% of Rhode Islanders choose to stay and work in the state after graduating from the University of Rhode Island. These are your future employees, your managers, your innovators. Our graduates are not only well educated, they are workforce ready. And what I mean by that is when they leave URI, a nursing graduate has already worked in simulation labs and hospitals. An engineering student has already worked in interdisciplinary teams and designed solutions to complex problems in partnership with companies like Electric Boat as part of their capstone design. A business graduate has already managed a live investment fund, and a marine sciences student has already deployed undersea robotics in Narragansett Bay. Our students leave URI not just with theory, but with real-world practice in solving open-ended problems and working in interdisciplinary teams that allow them to contribute on day one. Second, our faculty are solving problems that matter. URI is a Carnegie R1 research university, the top tier in the country. Last year, we brought in more than $162 million in external research funding. That research advances quantum computing, biomedical sciences, oceanography, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence, fields that align directly with Rhode Island's economic future. This isn't abstract work. It
What is
results
going
in
on,
patents,
Ben Smith,
partnerships, and
Greenfingers?
startups.
Good to see you guys.
It improves the lives of all Rhode Islanders.
Guys, right now, this is a bunch of nothing, but let us know in the poll in the chat. Will Powell speaking on economic outlook today affect Bitcoin and altcoins?
Companies are spinning out of URI labs. Students and faculty are collaborating with businesses to test and scale ideas. This innovation is happening right here, right now, and together we can really accelerate that impact. And third, we are investing in infrastructure that creates jobs and opportunities. From the new Ocean Robotics Laboratory on our Bay campus to a state-of-the-art biomedical sciences building on our Kingston campus and the ongoing work on our new Fine Arts Center, these projects are creating construction jobs now and anchoring long-term industries for the future. And by the way, let me also say thank you, Rhode Island voters, for supporting our general obligation bonds. They are magnets for talent, for federal investment, and for collaboration. Now, higher education is facing very real and very challenging national headwinds. And as I wrote in my op-ed for Science, when universities falter, the consequences are not confined to the institution. Patients go untreated. Communities lose vital access to critical resources. Life-changing research comes to a halt. But when universities thrive, the reverse is true. Students climb higher, communities grow stronger, and innovation flourishes. We have homegrown talent here, and we are attracting the best and the brightest from around the country. Some 40% of our out-of-state graduates choose to stay in Rhode Island and work, directly addressing the brain drain. We're recruiting new talent and keeping them here to power the state's economy. This is a tremendous moment of opportunity for the state of Rhode Island. With renewed investment from the state, thank you very much, and with momentum from our new R1 status and #1 ranking in the Wall Street Journal, and with talented entrepreneurial students and faculty, we are poised to drive Rhode Island's growth for decades to come. So let's do this together. URI is ready, and we want to partner with you to ensure Rhode Island not only competes, but leads in the economy of the future. Thank you very much.
Is that the waffle?
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and we thank you as well for being a member of the Board of Directors of the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce. So at this point, we are going to pause for about 3 or 4 minutes so that you can finish up your...
Let's I don't know what happened, guys. It disconnected me from my stream, but it lets me go right back and reconnect immediately. So I have no idea what that issue is. That is really weird. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense, does it? I guess I'm going to have to start doing a test live every stream and then just restart the stream maybe. I'm not sure what just happened with us, guys, but we are back. We are live, and Jerome Powell is about to speak here. We're going to just take a quick look at this and see what happens with Jerome Powell. Our first attempt to go live a second ago, I don't know what happened. So what's up, ATL guy? Welcome back to the channel, my man. Again, the live stream just got disconnected, and we are back. The live stream is reconnected. Hopefully, these issues do not take place in tonight's live stream because, guys, we've got a jam-packed live stream tonight. There is a link to that live stream if you want to turn the notifications on for that live stream in the pinned chat. We are finally remonetized here on the channel, so tonight's stream is going to be exciting and fun. I'm going to make it fun. We'll do some goals. ATL guy, I know I was a little late to the party, but I was still going to give you guys my opinion on any of this and see what happens with it, but mainly, I just wanted to pop up and cover this, just because I am going live tonight, and I expect that live to be a jam-packed live stream. So, I'm excited, right? I'm excited. We're finally remonetized on the channel, and so while that's really minuscule compared to everything else going on right now, but for me and building this community and being able to even do this, what I want to do with this, it means a lot. So I'm excited, and that's going to really bring the energy in tonight's stream. So I am ready for it.
Corporations and universities have all proved disruptive and costly. Real wages for most American workers remain stagnant. We still have not fully tamed inflation. Roughly 36 million Americans are experiencing poverty, and housing is too expensive and in too short a supply everywhere, but particularly here. The policy chaos is extended into a direct assault on the Fed's independence and personal attacks by the President against members of the Fed. But Chair Powell has met these challenges with equanimity and professionalism. He understands that a strong and independent central bank can contribute to sound economic policy in this nation. He understands the impact that monetary policy has on communities and families and businesses. He has somehow managed to stay laser focused on achieving the Fed's dual mandate to achieve maximum employment and stable prices. Chair Powell, thank you for doing your job with honesty, integrity, and humility. I speak for all of us here. There are few examples of patriotic, decent dedication to the nation than Jerome Powell. And thank you for returning to the Providence Chamber during your final few months as Fed Chair. You are more than welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in welcoming Chair of the Federal Reserve, Jay Powell.
Thank you for your warm reception, and thank you, Senator Reid, for your very kind introduction. It is a pleasure to be back in Rhode Island, the last time I had the opportunity to speak to the Greater Providence Chamber of
Well, I do know one thing. I know that tonight's stream, I'm going to make sure and restart everything.
Is dedicated for our members of
the Reserve
even started.
Significant economic challenges and
What's up, Aaron Williams?
Thank you for your warm reception, and
Good to
thank
see
you,
you.
Senator Reid, for your very kind introduction.
Our stream keeps getting
It is a pleasure
disconnected,
to be
so if this
back
does
in
not
Rhode
work out,
Island.
guys, I hope I can get it figured out for tonight's stream.
The last time I had the opportunity to speak to the Greater
I don't know if it's my internet
Providence
connection or
Chamber
what,
of
but we keep
Commerce,
getting
as
disconnected.
Lori mentioned, was in the fall of 2019, actually November 25th, 2019, and I said then, quoting, "If the outlook changes materially, policy will change as well." Well, little did any of us know, just a couple of months later, the COVID-19 pandemic arrived. Both the economy and our policy evolved dramatically in ways that no one could have predicted. Along with actions by Congress, the administration, and the private sector, the Fed's aggressive response helped stave off historically severe downside risks to the economy. The COVID pandemic came on the heels of the painfully slow, decade-long recovery from the global financial crisis. And these two back-to-back world historical crises have left behind scars that will be with us for a long time. In democracies around the world, public trust in economic and political institutions has been challenged. Those of us who are in public service at this time need to focus tightly on carrying out our critical missions to the best of our ability in the midst of stormy seas and powerful crosswinds. Throughout this turbulent period, central banks like the Fed have had to develop innovative new policies that were designed to deliver on our statutory goals during times of crisis rather than for everyday use. Despite these two unique, extremely large shocks, the U.S. economy has performed as well or better than other large advanced economies around the world. And as always, it's essential that we continue to look back and learn the right lessons from these difficult years, and that process has been ongoing now for more than a decade. So, turning to the present day, the U.S. economy is showing resilience in the midst of substantial changes in trade and immigration policies, as well as in fiscal, regulatory, and geopolitical arenas. These policies are still emerging, and their longer-term implications will take some time to be seen. Recent data show that the pace of economic growth has moderated. The unemployment rate is low but has edged up. Job gains have slowed, and the downside risks to employment have risen. At the same time, inflation has risen recently and remains somewhat elevated. In recent months, it has become clear that the balance of risks has shifted, prompting us to move our policy stance closer to neutral at our FOMC meeting last week. GDP rose at a pace of about 1.5% in the first half of this year, down from 2.5% last year. The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. Activity in the housing sector remains weak, but business investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from last year's pace, largely reflecting the AI build-out. As noted in the September Beige Book, which I bet you wonder what it is, the September Beige Book, that's a report that gathers qualitative information from across the Federal Reserve System. We'll talk about later. Businesses continue to say that uncertainty is weighing on their outlook. Measures of consumer and business sentiment declined sharply in the spring. They have since moved up, but remain low relative to the start of the year. In the labor market, there has been a marked slowdown in both the supply of and the demand for workers, an unusual and challenging development. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer labor market, the downside risks to employment have risen. The unemployment rate edged up to 4.3% in August, but has remained relatively stable at a low level over the past year. Payroll job gains slowed sharply over summer months as employers added an average of just 29,000 per month over the past 3 months. The recent pace of job creation appears to be running below what we call the break-even rate, that is the rate needed to hold the unemployment rate constant. But a number of other labor market indicators remain broadly stable. For example, the ratio of job openings to unemployment remains near 1, and multiple measures of job openings have been moving roughly sideways, not down, as have initial claims for unemployment insurance. Inflation, meanwhile, has eased significantly from its highs of 2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. The latest available data indicate that total PCE prices rose, that's personal consumption expenditure prices, that's the inflation measure that we follow most closely, rose 2.7% over the 12 months ending in August, up from 2.3% in August 2024. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.9% last month, also higher than a year ago. Goods prices, after falling last year, are driving the pickup inflation. Incoming data and surveys suggest that those price increases largely reflect higher tariffs rather than broader price pressures. Disinflation for services continues, including for housing services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term inflation expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The overall economic effects of the significant changes in trade, immigration, fiscal, and regulatory policy remain to be seen. A reasonable base case is that the tariff-related effects on inflation will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. Now, a one-time increase does not mean all at once. Tariff increases will likely take some time to work their way through supply chains. As a result, this one-time increase in the price level will likely be spread over several quarters and show up as somewhat higher inflation during that period. But uncertainty around the path of inflation remains high. We will carefully assess and manage the risk of higher and more persistent inflation. We'll make sure that this one-time increase in prices does not become an ongoing inflation problem. Turning to monetary policy, near-term risks to inflation are tilted to the upside, and risks to employment are tilted to the downside, a challenging situation. Two-sided risks mean that there is no risk-free path. If we ease too aggressively, we could leave the inflation job unfinished and need to reverse course later to fully restore 2% inflation. If we maintain restrictive policy too long, the labor market could soften unnecessarily. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework has long called for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. The increased downside risks to employment have shifted the balance of risks to achieving our goals. We therefore judged it appropriate at our last meeting to take another step toward a more neutral policy stance, lowering the target range for the federal funds rate by 25 basis points to 4 to 4.25%. This policy stance, which I personally see as still modestly restrictive, leaves us well positioned to respond to potential economic developments. Our policy is not on a preset course. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment and bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans, and we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. So thank you again for having me here, and I very much look forward to our discussion. Thanks.
Thank you, Greenfingers. I apologize, Greenfingers. Thank you, man, for being there for me there. Yes. So basically, as I was saying, I feel like there was a little bit of a hawkish undertone there, right? He was overall mostly, it seemed, neutral in this, but I do believe there was a little bit of a mixed signal there, a little bit of a mix between neutral and somewhat hawkish. Now, when we look at the market right now, which is what we're going to do right now, we're going to jump right into the charts and take a look at Bitcoin and crypto, maybe some altcoins, but mostly I am going to be looking at Bitcoin right now. And, you know, this right here is obviously a little bit hawkish as well, right? Powell signals Federal Reserve to move slowly on interest rate cuts. So with that being said, should we be hawkish ourselves, or is the pain over? Is the worst of it over? You know, that's a very good question, because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I felt the pain. I felt the pain on this big correction. I'm not going to call it a Bitcoin crash. I mean, it's hard to call it a Bitcoin crash when we're at $111,000. But still, you know, this correction, right? This decent size, pretty decent size correction for Bitcoin here, you know, was it due anyways? You know, was this due anyways? And obviously, in tonight's stream, I'm going to be talking about exactly what to expect going forward towards the end of this year. I'm going to be talking about exactly what could have caused the markets to get liquidated here. And I'll be taking a look at altcoins more in tonight's stream. So don't forget, click on that pinned link in the pinned chat and turn on the notifications for tonight's stream. Tonight will be a banger stream, by the way, guys. We are freshly remonetized, so I'm going to have a a super chat goal tonight, and the reward for that super chat goal is going to be pretty interesting. So, as I said on my X page today, our live streams going forward are going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing the getting completely hammered, shit-faced drunk on the streams. That's 2022, right? That's 2022 live stream vibes, crypto live vibes, not 2025 live stream vibes. We will be pushing gratitude, pushing positivity, pushing a something of value. You know, we're going to be pushing something of value here on the channel in this community, instead of getting just completely wasted on streams. There's no fun in that. And plus, I don't drink like that anymore. So, you know, that's 2022. That is not today. So tonight's stream will be fun, and I will have a little bit of a surprise tonight that might involve a little bit of alcohol, but not a lot. Not a lot. It's going to be something as a celebratory drink, right? But it's only going to happen if we reach the goal. So Victor B, man, good to see you guys in the chat, by the way. Green Fingers, Deadwood, Victor B. ATL guy was here earlier as well. I appreciate all of you guys that show up for the lives and the replays. But yeah, alcohol hold much value? Victor B. You know, I don't have a thing against drinking. You know, I think that if you can handle it, you can manage it efficiently, you know, it doesn't affect your day to day, then sure. Me, however, my personal experience with alcohol is that I cannot drink on a regular basis. I cannot do it. I can't have one drink at night every night like some people do. Greenfinger said, damn, I'll miss betting with Strega if you've passed out or not. I wonder who won those bets. I wonder who won those bets, man. Yeah, it's just not... for me, you know, the fact that we got remonetized here is such a, you know, a blessing and a second chance that, you know, I don't want to do anything to jeopardize. And granted, there's people that get drunk, they drink on their streams, they do all kinds of things, right? But for me going forward, I want this place to be something of value, not only to you guys, but I want this to be something of value for me as well. You know, I want to come on these live streams and have an experience with you guys that benefits all of us, that benefits me, benefits you guys. That way it's just a melting pot of just goodness, you know? I want these streams to bring out the best in all of us, in you guys and me included. So, you know, with that being said, getting hammered on the streams is not bringing out the best of anybody, I don't think. Other than, you know, the guys out there that like to have fun and watch me just completely crash out. And I'm not, that's not, no. No, we're not doing that no more. Anyways, guys, this was just a quick pop-up stream. I did not plan on being live very long. Bitcoin right now, we did drop to 111 on the 4 hour here. Honestly, guys, Bitcoin on the 4 hour, we're testing key support here on this previous range, but if we do break that support, you know, we could retest that bottom at 107 again. The only thing is the MACD kind of is pointing to some upside there for me on the 4 hour. I think that this is a good area for us to see Bitcoin recover. As you can see, you know, we have this previous resistance back here. We did hold support on that here. We lost it here, but look at what we're doing. We're trying to reclaim it here. And if we can reclaim this previous resistance as support here, then I do believe Bitcoin will come up, retest this POC at 117.9 or so, 117.8. Retest that, might get a pullback there, but then I do think we will go on to potentially new highs. And I don't think that it's over with. Now, again, that's only if we hold support here. If we start to go lower below this, we get rejected by that, we go anywhere below this right here, you know, then that's very bearish, right? That's extremely bearish. We might come all the way back down to test 100K. But we hold that support, hold the current support, and I think this scenario would play out. Obviously not my opinion, just not financial advice, just my opinion. Am I dyslexic, guys? Did I just say not my opinion, just financial advice? I can't be doing that, guys. I can't be dyslexic with the disclaimers now. That'd get me hemmed up, bro. That'll get me hemmed up. Anyways, I don't know what happened in the beginning of this stream. We literally got disconnected 3 times. 3 times before it went smoothly. So at 4 p.m. tonight, we're going to be going live. I'll probably be live for a couple of hours. Depending on how it goes, might even stay live longer. It'll be our first real big remonetized stream, so we'll see how it goes. And hopefully, we don't have any hiccups like we had with this stream. That is really annoying, but I'll get to the bottom of it. I'll get to the bottom of it. That is it, though. I'm not going to go any further right now. I'm going to save the rest of the juice for tonight's stream. And I will see you guys there, right? I will see you guys there. I do hope you guys are having a good day. Hope to see you tonight. And if not, that's okay. Hope to see you in the replay in the comments. Much love to Green Fingers, Deadwood, all the mods, Victor B, everybody that does show up and smash the like on the replay. Thank you guys and see you in the next one.